Did you know that people once shoved dead mice into their mouths to cure toothaches? That the doctors intentionally infected patients with malaria to treat syphilis? Or that drilling holes into someone's skull was considered cutting-edge medicine? Welcome to the dark, disgusting, and downright dangerous world of historical medicine, where the cure was often worse than the disease. Today, we're diving into the most bizarre, shocking, and sometimes deadly treatments that doctors actually prescribed throughout history. From ancient Egypt to the 1900s, humanity tried some, let's say, creative approaches to healing. But here's the thing, these weren't just random acts of medieval madness. People genuinely believed these treatments worked. They were desperate, suffering, and willing to try anything to survive. So buckle up. By the end of this video, you'll understand just how far medicine has come and maybe appreciate your next doctor's visit a little more. Let's get weird. Imagine you have a fever. You're sweating, delirious, barely conscious. The doctor arrives and says, "Don't worry, I know exactly what to do." Then he pulls out a knife and starts draining your blood. For over 2,000 years, this was the medical treatment for almost everything. Ancient Greek physicians, especially Hippocrates and Galen, believed the human body contained 4 humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. If these fell out of balance, illness was believed to follow. If you are feeling hot, feverish, or maybe a little too passionate, let's drain some blood. Feeling depressed? That's too much black bile. Better bleed you. Got a headache? Bloodletting. Insomnia? Bloodletting. Plague? You guessed it, bloodletting. Doctors used lancets, leeches, or scarificators, devices with multiple spring-loaded blades that slashed your skin simultaneously. They drain anywhere from a few ounces to over a liter of blood. In 1799, George Washington fell ill with a throat infection. His doctors bled him 4 times in one day, removing nearly half his blood volume. Modern physicians believe the bloodletting likely hastened his death more than the infection itself. And here's the kicker. Bloodletting makes you weaker. Your body loses oxygen-carrying red blood cells, your blood pressure drops, and your immune system has less fuel to fight infections. But because patients often rested after bloodletting, some survived despite the treatment, not because of it. Doctors took credit, and the practice continued for centuries. Would you let a doctor drain your blood if that's all they offered? This is a 7,000-year-old human skull. Notice anything unusual? That hole wasn't made after death. Someone intentionally drilled into this person's living skull, and they survived. Trepanation, drilling or scraping holes into the skull, is one of the oldest surgical procedures in human history. We found trepan skulls on nearly every continent, dating back thousands of years. Early surgeons used flint, obsidian blades, or primitive drills. No anesthesia, no antibiotics. Just raw determination, and probably a lot of screaming. Why would anyone do this? Theories vary depending on the culture. Many believed that mental illness, headaches, or seizures were caused by demons trapped inside the skull. Cut a hole, and the spirits escape. Some ancient doctors correctly identified that head injuries cause swelling. A hole could relieve pressure on the brain. In some cultures, surviving trepanation may have been a rite of passage or mark of healing. Here's the truly shocking part. Many patients survived. We know because their skulls show signs of bone regrowth, meaning they lived months or even years after the procedure. In Neolithic times, survival rates were around 50 to 70%. Not bad for brain surgery with stone tools. However, infections, hemorrhaging, and brain damage were common. Some skulls show multiple holes, meaning either the first attempt didn't work, or these people were really unlucky. Could you handle having a hole drilled into your skull while fully conscious? Ancient Egypt gave us pyramids, hieroglyphics, and advanced mathematics. They were incredibly sophisticated. They also recommended splitting a dead mouse in half and sticking it in your mouth to cure a toothache. Let's take a tour through history's most disgusting pharmacy. In ancient Egypt, for dental pain, cut a mouse in half and apply it directly to the aching tooth. Alternatively, mash it into a paste. The Ebers Papyrus, circa 1500 BCE, records it as a recognized medical treatment. In Egypt, medieval Europe, and ancient China, animal excrement was used to treat wounds, burns, and infections. Crocodile, donkey, and pigeon excrement, all applied directly to open wounds. The logic? Some believed excrement had hot properties that would draw out infection. The reality? You're rubbing bacteria-laden feces into an open wound. Infection was guaranteed. Medieval physicians prescribed earthworm juice for ear aches. Crush them up, mix with goose fat, and pour into the ear canal. From the 12th to 17th centuries, European doctors prescribed powdered Egyptian mummies for ailments ranging from bruises to plague. And yes, people were literally eating ancient corpses. Many of these remedies came from the belief that something resembling an illness could be used to treat it. A fast mouse might cure sluggish digestion. Dark substances might cure dark bile. But more than anything, it came down to desperation and a complete lack of understanding about germs, bacteria, and basic hygiene. So which is worse? Eating powdered mummy or putting a dead mouse in your mouth? What if I told you that doctors once prescribed literal poison as medicine, and people paid good money for it? Mercury, arsenic, radium. These weren't accidental contaminations. They were intentional treatments sold as miracle cures. Mercury was used for centuries to treat syphilis, constipation, and teething pain in babies. The treatment? Rub mercury ointment on your skin, swallow mercury pills, or inhale mercury vapors in fumigation chambers. Mercury is highly toxic. Patients experienced excessive salivation, tooth loss, gum decay, tremors known as the Mad Hatter disease, kidney failure, brain damage, and of course, death. The phrase mad as a hatter came from mercury poisoning. Hat makers used mercury in the process of treating felt. They inhaled the fumes and developed neurological damage. In the Victorian era, arsenic was marketed as a beauty product. Dr. Mackenzie's improved harmless arsenic complexion wafers promised clear skin and a youthful glow. The results? Pale skin, nausea, hair loss, organ failure, and occasionally, death. But hey, at least you looked good at your funeral. In the early 1900s, after Marie Curie's discovery of radium, companies marketed radioactive products as health tonics. They made radium water, radium face cream, radium chocolate, radium suppositories. One wealthy industrialist, Eben Byers, drank over 1,400 bottles of radium water between 1927 to 1931. His jaw literally fell off. He died in 1932 from radiation poisoning. His body was so radioactive, he had to be buried in a lead-lined coffin. These weren't fringe products. They were sold in pharmacies, endorsed by doctors, and trusted by the public. Would you trust a miracle cure today if it seemed too good to be true? Imagine you're struggling with depression, anxiety, or schizophrenia. The doctor says, "I can fix you." Then he hammers an ice pick through your eye socket into your brain. This was called a lobotomy. And for this, the inventor won a Nobel Prize. In 1935, Portuguese neurologist Antonio E. Guzmanes developed the prefrontal lobotomy, severing connections in the brain's frontal lobe to treat mental illness. Early versions required drilling into the skull. But American physician Walter Freeman wanted something faster. Freeman developed the transorbital lobotomy. So how did he do it? Insert an ice pick-like tool through the eye socket. Hammer it through the thin bone into the frontal lobe. Wiggle it around to sever brain tissue. Repeat on the other side. No anesthesia in early versions. The procedure took about 10 minutes. Freeman carried out more than 3,000 lobotomies, sometimes inside a van he called the Lobotomobile. One famous victim was Rosemary Kennedy, sister of JFK. At age 23, She underwent a lobotomy to calm her mood swings. She lost the ability to walk or speak coherently and spent the rest of her life institutionalized. Lobotomy patients often became emotionally numb, childlike, unable to plan or think abstractly, incontinent and completely dependent on caregivers. Some died from infections or brain hemorrhaging. An estimated 40,000 to 50,000 lobotomies were performed in the U.S. alone between 1936 to 1967. By 1950s, evidence showed that lobotomies caused severe, irreversible damage. The introduction of psychiatric medications like chlorpromazine, also known as Thorazine, offered better alternatives. Freeman performed his last lobotomy in 1967. That patient died from a brain hemorrhage. Lobotomies are now considered unethical and are banned in many countries. How did this ever seem like a good idea? It's 1900. Your kid has a cough. The doctor recommends heroin. You have a toothache? Try some cocaine drops. Feeling tired? Cocaine wine will perk you right up. In the late 1800s, cocaine was everywhere. Coca-Cola originally contained cocaine. Toothache drops for children contained cocaine. Asthma cigarettes, sinus treatments, and anesthesia also contained cocaine. Sigmund Freud championed cocaine as a treatment for depression and morphine addiction. He called it a magical drug. In 1898, the Bayer Company, yes, the aspirin people, launched heroin as a cough suppressant and non-addictive morphine substitute. It was marketed for children and adults alike. Doctors prescribed it for everything from coughs to tuberculosis. In 1913, Bayer stopped production after realizing heroin was more addictive than morphine. From 1700 to 1800s, blowing tobacco smoke into someone's rectum was a legitimate medical treatment. It was used to treat drowning victims, to stimulate respiration, headaches, colds, and intestinal issues. Doctors used a bellows to pump smoke into the rectum. Resuscitation kits were even stationed along the Thames River in London. This is where blowing smoke up your ass saying comes from. Into the 1950s, cigarette companies ran ads with doctors endorsing smoking. More doctors smoked Camels than any other cigarette. Cigarettes were marketed as treatments for asthma, sore throats, and stress relief. We now know cigarettes cause cancer, heart disease, and lung damage. Would you trust modern pharmaceutical ads more than these old ones? Want to lose weight fast? Just swallow a parasite. But seriously, this was a real diet trend. In the early 1900s, companies sold pills containing live tapeworm larvae. The idea? The tapeworm grows inside your intestines, absorbs nutrients from the food you eat, and you lose weight effortlessly. Tapeworms can grow up to 30 feet long inside your intestines. Side effects include severe abdominal pain, nausea and vomiting, malnutrition because the worm steals your nutrients, intestinal blockages, cysts forming in your brain, liver or eyes, and even death. Getting rid of the tapeworm required fasting and medications, or in some cases, surgery. Believe it or not, people still try this. Tapeworm pills are sold on the black market and online, despite being illegal in most countries. Would you risk a brain parasite to lose 10 pounds? In ancient Rome, if you suffered from epilepsy, the treatment was simple. Drink the blood of a freshly killed gladiator. Human blood, straight from the source. Romans believed that the life force of a strong and healthy warrior could cure neurological disorders. Spectators would rush into the arena after a gladiator died, collect his blood, and drink it while still warm. From the 16th to 18th centuries, European pharmacies sold powdered human skull, ground human bones, and human fat for arthritis. These were prescribed for headaches, bleeding, and nervous disorders. In medieval lore, there are accounts of so-called mellified men, elderly volunteers, who allegedly survived for months on nothing but honey before death. After dying, their bodies were preserved in honey, and pieces were consumed as medicine. However, the story is found mainly in later Chinese texts. and its historical authenticity is uncertain. We mentioned tobacco smoke enemas, but coffee enemas were also popular. During the First World War, German nurses used coffee enemas to treat pain when morphine supplies ran low. Caffeine can be absorbed rectally, but this is not recommended. Would you drink gladiator blood or try human fat? Choose wisely. What if your doctor refused to operate on Tuesdays because Mercury was in retrograde? For centuries, astrology wasn't just entertainment, it was medical practice. Medieval and Renaissance doctors believed each zodiac sign ruled specific body parts. Aries, head and face. Taurus, neck and throat. Gemini, arms and lungs. Cancer, chest and stomach. Before performing surgery or bloodletting, doctors consulted astrological charts to determine the safest time. Surgery during the wrong planetary alignment was considered dangerous or even fatal. In some cultures, placing a human skull under your pillow was believed to cure nightmares, insomnia, or mental illness. Skulls of ancestors or warriors were especially prized. Across Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and South Asian cultures, illness was often attributed to the evil eye, a curse from someone's jealous gaze. Treatments included wearing protective amulets, burning specific herbs, or reciting prayers or spells. Medieval physicians believed that plants resembling body parts could cure ailments in those parts. For example, walnuts, because they look like brains, are cure for headaches. Beans, because they look like kidneys, for kidney disease. Liverwort for liver problems. This is called the doctrine of signatures. Zero scientific basis, but it persisted for centuries. Do you check your horoscope before making health decisions? So what changed? How did we go from drilling holes in skulls and drinking radium to actual, effective medicine? The discovery that microorganisms cause disease revolutionized medicine. Suddenly, sterilization, hygiene, and antibiotics made sense. Ether and chloroform allowed painless surgery, making complex procedures possible. Penicillin transformed infections from death sentences to minor inconveniences. The scientific method, peer review, and clinical trials became the standard. No more bloodletting because the stars said so. Now we demand proof. Here's the lesson. Desperation makes people vulnerable. When you're sick, in pain, or scared, you'll try anything. Snake oil salesmen, unproven natural cures, and pseudoscience thrive on that desperation. Even today we see echoes of this, like overpriced detox tea, magnetic bracelets, and unregulated supplements promising miracle cures. So always ask, where's the evidence? Has this been tested in clinical trials? Is this endorsed by actual medical professionals? Real medicine is boring. It's slow, methodical, and based on decades of research, but it works. And you won't end up with a tapeworm in your intestines or radium in your bones. What modern health trend do you think people will laugh at in 100 years? So there you have it. From dead mice to ice pick lobotomies, humanity's quest to heal has been creative, to say the least. But here's the amazing part. Every failed treatment taught us something. Every disaster pushed medicine forward. Today, we can cure diseases that once wiped out entire civilizations. We can transplant organs, edit genes, and detect cancer at the cellular level. We're not perfect. Medicine still has a long way to go. But we're no longer drilling holes in people's heads to let out demons. If you made it this far, you're probably wondering, how did I not know this? Well, now you do. And if your mind is sufficiently blown, hit that like button, subscribe for more dark medical history, and drop a comment telling me which treatment shocked you the most. Was it the tapeworm diet, the radium suppositories, or the tobacco smoke enemas? Also, if there's a historical topic you want me to cover next, let me know below. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and for the love of everything holy, do not try any of these at home. See you in the next one.